So I seen in her eye, like I could feel it. And I know when a girl is like feeling me, and I could see that in that moment. And she was just like looking me up and down, like, I can't believe he just said that to me. And she was turned on. And I'm positive that she was turned on. I've seen that look before. I know what that look looks like. She was turned on. What up, YouTube? It's your boy Marv Over Matter back with another video. And today what I'm going to talk about are 3 weird things that turn women on if you are an attractive man, right? 3 weird things that will turn a woman on if you're an attractive man. So my last video I talked about 3 weird things that would attract a girl if you're handsome. Now this is the next step. 3 things that will turn women on if you are a handsome man. So what do I mean by that? So there's things that, you know, if you're blue-pilled or if you haven't had a lot of experiences with women or you haven't seen, you know, a woman in her full womanliness, you know what I'm saying, you will just not understand about them sexually. There's things that you just will not understand about them sexually, and unless somebody, like I said, tells you, or if you experience them, you just won't know. So some of these things, again, just like the signs that would attract a woman, are counterintuitive, right? You wouldn't think they would turn a woman on. You would think you're supposed to do the things that you see in movies, and that's going to make them, you know, emotionally turned on, and that's going to turn them on, and all these types of things. And, you know, sometimes that may be true. There is a side of women that is like that, but then there's a darker side, a side that's, you know, a little bit, like I said, more counterintuitive, more backwards, more, you know, toxic, I guess is the word. I hate to use the word, but a little bit more toxic, if you would. So I'm gonna get right into it. And the first weird thing that turns women on is, and I've talked about this slightly before, but not in depth, when you tell them about your experiences with other women. That is my move. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, if I have a conversation with a woman, that's what I'm doing. If I'm trying to get this woman, if I'm trying to turn this woman on and get her into me, I promise you this is what I'm doing. I'm talking about my other experiences. Now, to the extent I want to get with her, that's to the extent I'm going to talk about my experiences with other women, right? So if I want to get to, you know what I'm saying, intimate with her, I'm going to tell her about my intimate experiences with other women. And I promise you, I don't know what it is, it will turn the woman on and she will want you. She will want you in a sexual way. I mean, you're talking about this, you're talking about it. If you talk about it and you talk about yourself in a positive light in these situations, you talk about how much the girl was going crazy over you, you talk about, you know, the experience and how good it was and all these types of things, it gets their mind going. It gets them thinking about themselves in that position with you. If it gets them to see you like that, first of all. So if they did not see you like that, they will definitely be seeing you like that. If you're an attractive guy, they're already seeing you like that, but it only confirms what they already think about you. You know what I'm saying? If they think, you know what I'm saying, you're a freak in the bed or whatever, or you're good in bed, and then you tell them stories that, you know, confirm you're not even a freak in bed, but experienced, right? If they think you're experienced and you tell them stories about your experiences, that only confirms the fact that you're experienced, and they're gonna be like, oh, I knew he knew what he was doing. He has all these different experiences with these different women. What is it about him? You know what I'm saying? And then you're already attractive, so it's believable. They don't think you're lying about the stories. They thinking worse. They already thinking you're doing way more than what you're doing, right? So when you tell them about your experiences with other women, it will turn them on, and it will transition the relationship you have with this girl into a sexual relationship very quickly if you do this. I promise, right? So that's the first weird thing that will, you know, turn a woman on. The thing, because you would think, I say it's weird because you would think that if you're telling her about your experiences with other women, it would turn you off, right? Because, you know, with guys, if a girl tells you about her experiences with another dude, a lot of times for me, especially if I'm feeling the girl, I'm not feeling that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear about no crazy stuff, right? Like, for example, right, if you tell a girl about you having an experience with multiple women, she's gonna, you know, be turned on by that. But if she tells you about an experience with multiple men, I don't know if that will do it for you. It won't do it for me. You know what I'm saying? It'll have me like, I'm cool. But that's typically, I'm assuming, the reaction that most guys are gonna have to that, right? So it's just it's weird because it doesn't work both ways. It only works with women. So that's why I say it's a weird thing that turns women on. Now we get into like the really toxic things that turn women on, right? So this one, I seen this one in movies, and I was like, okay, like I didn't really believe it. I'm like, okay, this just makes for a good movie, until like I had an experience where I started to understand like, oh, this is actually a real thing, right? And that's when you are like rude to a woman, you have like a little argument with her, you have a little back and forth with her, that actually turns them on, right? That actually turns them on. And I used to not believe it. I remember I seen it in the Biggie movie, right? When Biggie was he was arguing with Lil' Kim when he first met her, and they showed a scene, and they arguing back and forth, and they cut to it, and they're like getting it in. I remember seeing that scene and being like, I mean, it makes for a good movie, but that's not real, right? And I would see other scenes like that in other movies. But then I remember one time I was in Chipotle, right? And I was mad about something. I don't know what it was. I was having a bad day. I was just tight. I was like, bro, I was ready for smoke with anybody. And I'm sitting down, right, because there's a long line. I don't really want to stand up. I think I just came from the gym. I'm tired. I'm sitting down. It's like a big windowsill or whatever. I'm sitting down. There's a little bit of space and then the doors, right? So then this girl comes in, and she sees me sitting down, whatever. And then the line had moved up like a little bit. Like it wasn't a big space, but there was space, you know what I'm saying? So it was noticeable. So she comes to me and she's like, hey, she's like, are you in line? I'm like, yeah, I'm in line. And she's like, oh, well, she's like, can you move up? Cause like the line's moving. I'm like, I'm not moving. I'm like, it doesn't make a difference if I'm sitting here or standing there, we still gonna be waiting, right? I was just ready for smoke right away. I was just in a bad mood about something. I forget what it was. This is like years ago. So then she's like, all right, she's like, well, can I go in front of you? I was like, you can go in front of me. I was like, but I'm still ordering my food before you. And she was just so taken aback by that. And she was just like, I forget what she said. I think she said something else. And then I was kind of like, all right, whatever you say, but I'm not moving. And if you go in front of me, I was like, I'm still getting my food before you. So do what you want to do. And so she just stays there. She stands there. And then more people start coming in. So I moved, because if it was enough space when it was just her, even if there was another person, but like once the third person came in, I'm like, all right, I'm not unreasonable, like I'll move. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no reason for people to just be waiting outside the door for me. So I get up, I move, and I'm standing there. And then this is like, I kind of realized that in the moment. When I look back afterwards though, I could definitely see it, but in the moment it crossed my mind. But I just saw her just looking at me like, she was like, she kind of had like a little smirk on her face, and she was just looking at me like, I can't believe he just said that to me, and like looking me up and down. And when I think about it, I was just tight at the time, so I didn't care. She wasn't that cute where it would have made me change my mind about, made me like not be mad anymore and be like, oh, this is an opportunity. Like she was like, okay, she was cute. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't crazy though. So I seen in her eye, I could feel it. And I know when a girl is like feeling me, and I could see that in that moment. And she was just like looking me up and down like, I can't believe he just said that to me. And she was turned on. And I'm positive that she was turned on. I've seen that look before. I know what that look looks like. She was turned on. Now I was tight. Like I said, she wasn't that beautiful. I was like ready to change it all. You know what I'm saying? Be like, you know what? I don't care about what I'm mad about. This is opportunity. Like she was just whatever, right? So I was still tight. I was like, what are you looking at? And she was like, I just can't believe that you know what I'm saying? She kept going. I was like, take that anxiety. I'm like, bring it somewhere else. And then that kind of triggered her, and she got mad again. And she was mad, and she just walked out. She didn't even eat lunch. She was on lunch from her job or whatever. She didn't even eat lunch. She just left. But that moment let me realize, because I understand, like I wasn't as smooth as I am now. So I wouldn't, like now if I was in that situation and let's say I wasn't mad, I would have been able to transition that. Like, okay, because I lived right down the street. I feel like it literally could have been like the movie where it just went from, okay, she's mad to this happening. I didn't know how to make that transition back then, right? So I probably would have just got her number if I was, in the mood to. It probably would have just been like a number and that's it. But nonetheless, I say all that to say, when you argue with a girl, when you're rude with a girl, when you go back and forth with a girl, it turns them on, right? So I had another situation where because I'm an actor, so I was on set one time, and this girl, she had already like thrown little hints that she was feeling me. She said she called me like pretty boy, whatever. She was trying to do it teasingly. But then there was a day where she came in and me and like some of the other actors were doing our scene, and she just came in mad obnoxious, like just making noise while we're doing our scene. And I'm not one to be disrespected like that. I was just like, hey, I'm like, and I'm not in a rude way or anything. I'm like, hey, could you? Because she was sick, I think, so she was like snorting, making noises, trying to get her sniffles, handle her sniffles, whatever it is. And I'm like, hey, I'm like, can you, excuse me, I'm like, can you not, make so much noise like we're in the middle of a scene? And she just flips out. She's like, what do you mean when you're in the middle of the scene? She's like, well, how am I supposed to know that? I was like, because he said action. And then she felt dumb. And then she started going off, like, I'm going to tell the director, blah, blah, blah. Because the director had stepped away. That's why he did, like, she was just allowed to do that. I guess he went to the bathroom and we were just in the middle of the scene with the cameraman, and he wasn't gonna say anything. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna waste my time and do this scene for no reason. So I said what I said. I thought it was polite. I said, hey, excuse me, can you not, make so much noise? We're in the middle of a scene. Thought I was being polite. I guess she didn't think so. So she gets mad, whatever. She starts arguing. I'm not really arguing with her, but I'm just like, all right, yeah, cool, whatever. Just, we're trying to do a scene, so if you could just be quiet when we're doing it. You know what I mean? I just quick check her. So she's mad, whatever, till I leave. I come back the next weekend, and we have a scene. I'm like, I wonder how she's gonna react. So she comes back, and when she comes back, she's mad submissive, mad nice to me, right? We're doing a scene where, and this is when I was like, oh, this is really like on some toxic shit, because we're doing a scene where like I'm supposed to slap her or whatever. It's like I'm a civil rights leader. She's another civil rights like activist, whatever, and we're having a disagreement about what we say, but it's back in the day, so I'm like an old school man. I'm like, woman, don't talk to me like that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like any kinky thing or whatever. But she was just like, oh no, he can slap me. He should slap me for real. Like, no, I think it would be more realistic if he slapped me. Like, she was like asking for me to slap her after this, after we had an argument, right? Now, the reason I say for these signs, they're only if you're handsome, because going further, right? I didn't slap her. I think I realized what was going on. I was like, I'm not about to give into this, this fantasy she has. And then going further, the next week, like, I'm done shooting my scenes. I'm done, right? I died in the movie, whatever. But I hear after, and they call me back because they have to bring my character back to life, because she got into an argument with the director and an argument with a couple other actors, and I guess she didn't think they were handsome. So when she got in an argument with them, she was like, I'm gonna have my niggas come down here and they gonna handle y'all. They gonna I better not see y'all around here. They gonna come through. They gonna, you know what I'm saying, do what they do to y'all. Right? She wasn't giving none of that energy to me. When she see me the next time, she was super nice. She was super polite. You know what I'm saying? She was like wanting me to slap her in the scene. You feel me? And then after the movie, because she lost contact with the director, she's hitting me up like, oh, like, how are you? Boom, boom, boom. She's like, oh, did you hear anything about... Like, she's still being sweet to me, but when it was them, she was about to have her dudes come up there, take them out, boom, 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 all this stuff. But because I was being rude to her, arguing with her, that turned her on. That made her submissive. That made her attracted to me. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I say that's another weird thing that only if you're handsome, it can turn a woman on. I mean, even if you're in a relationship, if you get into like a little thing with your girl, like a lot of times they like dudes that will get into it with them because that turns them on. So that's another thing. That's the second weird thing that turns women on if you're a handsome man. And the third weird thing that will turn women on if you're a handsome man, and this one is quite some deep game, some more explicit game. But when you're in the bedroom, right, and you're talking to her, and you're calling her names and you're being disrespectful in the bedroom, they love that. That turns them on. So like, I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know that for a long time. There was a specific girl who kind of introduced me to that, because she would ask for these certain things and it would turn her on like crazy. And then I took these things and I applied them to my, further my later experiences, and I realized it was on a consistent basis that girls love to be disrespected in the bedroom. That's just something that it is what it is, right? It's something you would not believe, you would not think is real unless you experience it. There's a lot of guys who have experiences, so this will be, just regular information to you. But if you're more blue-pilled, or if you're younger, more inexperienced, You know what I'm saying? Or you've only dealt with a certain type of girl. Even if you're not inexperienced, like even me, I had you know multiple partners, but I had not experienced this yet. You know what I'm saying? Before one, like there was before I experienced it, and I was, you know, I did my thing a certain way, and I was, you know, I was cool, whatever. But then afterwards, it was just a different experience. You see a different side of women when you incorporate that disrespect into your bedroom. Now, obviously, with boundaries, with limits, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying be crazy, but if you can incorporate a little, you know, name calling, you know what I'm saying? And then whatever further, if whatever she's comfortable with physically, if y'all can incorporate that into the bedroom, that will turn her on tremendously. It will be another level in your intimate experience with this woman. All right, so that is the third counter intuitive thing that will turn a woman on, right? Like I said, to a certain level, the physicality will turn them on. They like the helplessness. They like being disrespected. They like, you know, this is not all women, so don't take this with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Talk to your woman, the woman that you're dealing with, whatever. Talk to her. But I've experienced where women like that. You know what I'm saying? The name, like I said, the name calling, that type of stuff. You're calling them a B, you're calling them this, you're calling them that. Like that can heighten their experience in some cases. Not all, like I said, not all. Talk to your specific girl, but in my experiences, when I've done this, it has gone well. So that is the third weird thing that will turn women on. If you're a handsome man, I don't not all my experiences have been as a handsome man, so I don't really know otherwise. But like I said, as a handsome man, those three weird things will turn a woman on. Alright, so that's the video for today. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think, man. Drop some more topics in the comment section. Things that you want to know about that's going to help your dating life, because it's going to help everybody's dating life. Things that you've been curious about for a while, you know what I'm saying? Get creative with it. Let me know. So because the more specific the topic is, I feel like the more it can really help. You know what I'm saying? It can really help a situation. And it can really help other guys going through that exact situation. Alright, fellas, so consultations in the bio, consultations in the description box, Instagram in the description box, and you know what it is. It's mind over matter, Marv over matter. Let's get it.